You know how your mom always told you to eat your veggies? I bet she had no idea just how irresistible that could be. Hi, I'm Katie Simmons. Join me on Food Purpose, a whole plant-based, oil-free cooking show where you'll discover just how easy, inexpensive, and delicious eating your greens can be. Who thought eat your veggies would be so tempting? Hi, my name is Katie Simmons, and thanks for checking out Food Purpose, a whole plant-based, oil-free cooking show. What I'm going to show you today is how to make acorn squash with wild rice and onion apple stuffing. Here's what you'll need for the dish. 2 acorn squash, 1 cup of wild rice blend, 1 bay leaf, 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, half an onion diced, 2 stalks of celery diced, 1 sweet apple like Fuji or Gala, 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, a couple tablespoons of fresh sage chopped up, 1 tablespoon of fresh thyme chopped, half a cup of dried tart cherries, 1/4 cup of pecan pieces, salt, pepper, and a little bit of fresh chives to garnish later. The first thing we want to do is just have our squash. So you want to cut off the end and then use your knife, go straight down. So you split it open and you see all the seeds in here. We want to get all of that out. So just scrape out all the seeds. The best tool to use is a big spoon like this. All right, so once you got the inside scraped out like that, you want to get all that gristle out of there too. Just put it cut side down in a big roasting dish, and we want to add a little bit of water, and this is going to help give us some juices, get the juices flowing. So you want to add enough water just to come up about 1/4 inch in your pan. You can always add more later, and it's better to be safe than sorry. So let's get this going in our oven. We're going to let that roast in a 350 oven for about 40 minutes till it's nice and soft. And that gives you plenty of time to get your stuffing working. So we're going to get our wild rice blend cooking. Now the first thing we want to do is just heat up a pan. Nice saucepan will work. I just want to get it going because I'm going to toast my rice. And today we're using a wild rice blend. And wild rice is actually this black grain. It's not even a rice, it's a grass. It has tons of fiber, it's really nutritious. It's got a nice nutty, chewy flavor and texture. So now that I've rinsed off my rice, I want to get it toasting in my pan. In toasting your rice, it's just like toasting your nuts, which we'll do later with our pecans. It's just going to bring out that natural flavor of the rice. So we've got a nice deep nutty flavor we want to bring out. It's going to give you some aromatics, which are nice. So it won't take long. We're just going to let it toast for a minute or so until you get that nice smell coming out of the rice. So let's let that guy go. And while he's toasting, we're also going to start working on our stuffing. And one of the components of our stuffing is pecans. Or if you're from the South, like I am, it's pecans. So again, we have a dry pan, and we're going to toast our pecans, our pecans, in our dry pan. So a little bit of chopped pecans, just get them going. And you notice I don't have any oil in the pan. You don't need any oil at all. You have natural oils in the pecans that you're going to bring out those natural oils. You actually have natural oils in your rice and in your grains, and you're going to bring out those natural oils. So you don't need to add anything to the pan. It's already there. Now my rice is already smelling nutty. So it's ready, it's done toasting. Let's go ahead and add in a bay leaf, which is just gonna add a nice sort of herbal flavor to the rice. We got our bay leaf in there, and enough water to cover your rice. So you want your rice to be covered about 1/4 inch, and that's really it. This is sort of the set it and forget it mode. So once your rice is set, you cover it, you simmer it until it's done. It'll take about 30 to 40 minutes. All right, so once your pecans are done, pull them off. We're gonna let them cool down a little bit. And you notice I got my pan still hot and going. Keep it going, keep that fire on there. We want a nice hot pan. So our stuffing. Today in our stuffing, you got to have onion. I mean, come on, it's classic. So you got onion, you got a little bit of celery. I'm gonna put a little more onion in there. Oh my gosh. And we're gonna add a little bit of salt, just a pinch or so. And the salt's gonna help bring out the moisture so that you can caramelize the onions, get that natural brown color going on, get the natural sugars working. I got my stuff in my pan. I'm gonna give it a quick little stir. And then again, it's sort of like set it and forget it. Oh my gosh. Now with stuffing, it's a great opportunity to add a lot of different flavors and textures. So onions and celery are sort of the basics, but you think about what else is in season this time of year, and one of my favorite things of all time is apples. I love apples. If you think about, I mean, when I was a kid, I had two choices of apples. I had red and green. It was big news when the yellow came on the market, right? And nowadays you go to the market and there's like 5,000 different kinds of apples, and they're all over the place, and there's sweet apples, there's crisp apples, there's all kinds of apples. Granny Smith even has her apple. So I like to add apples for a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of texture, and also some color. So you can get red apples if you like a little bit more red color. But it doesn't have to be fancy. Don't think about it too much. Whatever sort of apple you might have floating around. If you have a pear instead of an apple, now's your chance to use some pears. Again, just playing with that natural sweetness, different textures going on, different colors. So I'm cutting my apple about the same size that my celery and onion were cut. Come on, Bubba. And I want to get them in the pan, caramelizing along with my celery and onion. Okay, so once you got the golden color, that's your caramelization. That's really it. You don't want to cook it too much because you want that texture of the onions and the apples. Well, first we're going to add some apple cider vinegar. Oh, babe. Oh my gosh. Now, obviously you add apple cider vinegar because we have apples in the stuffing, so it kind of makes sense. I don't know. But some people like to add white wine, or any other kind of white vinegar would be great here. And vinegar just adds that sort of acidic bite that really will help brighten up this dish. So even if you just had a little lemon juice lying around, add that in there, layer some flavor. Now also with our vinegar, we're going to add in our garlic, a couple cloves of garlic, fresh sage, or if you have dried sage, a little bit goes a long way. A little bit of fresh thyme. Again, you could use dried thyme. I like to add a little bit more texture and color at this point. And today I'm doing that with dried cherries. Oh. And it's going to add another sweetness. I am a sweetaholic. I love sugar. So for me, adding dried fruit, fresh fruit to anything is a must. So we got our dried cherries in. I'm going to add a little bit more water. And this is just going to help plump up the cherries a little bit. Okay, so once, again, you don't want to overcook your mixture that's in your stuffing, because again, we want to keep that texture in the apples and the onions, and even in the cherries. We don't want them to get mushy. So it's okay to have a little bit of juice left in the pan. You see my little juice going on? It's okay to have some extra because that's going to be absorbed with your rice. So once your mixture's done, you can go ahead and turn it off. So this rice is already cooked off. And you'll see when you look at your wild rice, the black rice, it actually bursts open and it gets these little white slits in it. So that's what's going to tell you that it's done. It's sort of like your pop-up thermometer with the rice. So once it's done, you want to fish out your bay leaf. You don't want grandma choking on that, that's for sure. And that can go right into your apple and onion mixture. Oh, babe. Delicious. And then we're going to add our toasted pecans in there, and they're going to add a little bit of crunch. So again, we're talking about textures. We're talking about layers of flavor. And look at this. Isn't it beautiful? I mean, come on. You just got to turn on the football game and you're ready to go. I want to add a little bit of fresh herbs. So I got some chives chopped up, or if you got some parsley, go ahead and add that in. That's just going to brighten up your dish a little bit. And your stuffing is done. It is stuffed. Now we just need to put it in something, right? So our squash is ready. Our stuffing is ready. Now it's time to stuff your squash. Oh, get your plate ready. Beautiful. So you see that nice color of the squash. It's so beautiful. I mean, this is fall. This is the holidays. Be generous with your stuffing. I mean, you want people to leave happy and satisfied, right? You don't want to leave them going to get groceries on the way home because they're still hungry. They need more pie. So fill up your squash. Each person gets half a squash. I mean, come on. How could people be disappointed at your house? Oh, babe. And this is something you can make a day ahead of time, a couple days ahead of time, and have them already stuffed and ready to go. And even have them in a roasting dish. And then right before your guests come over, or even if you're taking this with you over to Grandma's house and you're in charge of bringing the stuffing, you just pop this in a hot oven for about 10-15 minutes till it's nice and warm. So there you have it. You can garnish it with a few fresh chives just to brighten it up a little bit. But that is your acorn squash with wild rice, onion, apple stuffing. Thanks for playing in my kitchen. For this and more recipes or information, visit us at foodpurpose.com. And remember, give your food purpose.